Okay, Casey? Good. All right. Okay, when the board was deciding whether or not to hold a meeting this month, in lieu of a holiday luncheon, we thought about what we could do to end this crazy 2020 year with optimism, hope, and creativity. This is why we selected our speaker, Claire Payne. Claire discovered and explored her passion for art through her own personal life journeys. As often happens, the journeys took her through good times as well as bad, and art gave her a means to survive, conquer, and rejoice in the celebration and joy of life. During the 2020 COVID pandemic, Claire has focused her artistic talent to develop Agnes and Her Escapades, delivering an often humorous outlook on a challenging time. Claire's work's been accepted in international juried shows as well as the International Society of Experimental Art, And watercolor is her favorite medium, but she also enjoys trying her hand at collage and abstract textures. She's been recognized at the Watercolor Art Society Houston, and she's won numerous first place awards in the Houston Area Art League shows. So with that, I'd like to introduce Claire.
Good morning, Carolyn. I appreciate that.
There you are. Okay, so Claire, what inspired you to create Agnes?
Well, I just woke up one morning and suddenly Agnes occurred to me. I've never really drawn figures or cartoons, but I said, I think I can do this. And so I did.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I think a lot of people are interested to know is why the name Agnes? What's significant about that name?
Agnes is not among the top 1,000 girls' names today, but Agnes was popular for a girl's name about 80, 85 years ago. And so that immediately puts Agnes in a certain age group.
Okay. And one of the things that you've mentioned is about senior. So what is a senior?
Senior, most seniors, the designated senior title comes along way too early. You know, you can be designated a senior way back in your youth, 50. And so a senior is well above that. So that is a senior, old person.
Okay, so do you consider yourself to be Agnes? If that's not too personal a question.
No, I made up Agnes, and so Agnes is part me since I made up Agnes, but she's a mixture. She's a compilation of all the seniors that I know. And so she is a result of the complaining or maybe the conversation or experiences that I listen to and I hear. And so then I make up some kind of an Agnes joke about it.
Okay, well, what we thought we'd do is page through some of Agnes's escapades here and have you comment and give us some information about maybe what you were thinking during that time, or maybe some of your art technique that you used during these great graphics that you've pulled together here. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about her wardrobe.
Agnes moved from one state to another, and when she arrived in the new state, she realized that the wardrobe that she had from her previous location didn't fit with her new location. And she looked around and she noticed that people were wearing leggings and tunics and wonderful high-heeled boots. So she thought that maybe she would enjoy that in her wardrobe. So she added a scarf to hide her turkey neck. And she wears dangly earrings, which often express her feelings. And she has spiky red hair because, you know, her hair is thinning a bit and that hides it. And so Agnes, you know, has a little trouble with her knees, a little trouble with her back, a little trouble with this and that. So anyway, she tried to spiffy up her wardrobe to look a little bit more with it. And so here's Agnes making a point, and so she's on her soapbox, but unfortunately, her point eludes her just now. So that Agnes was really invented in my mind before we were all quarantined. And so Agnes and her friends were still going into town to the symphony and a few nice places. So Agnes and her friends got all gussied up for dinner and a play. And they did get home a little late because no one could remember where the car was parked. And Agnes wanted to look really good for her physical therapy. So she bought herself a new Lycra outfit to go to physical therapy.
So she got rid of the boots for that adventure, huh?
Well, she did. And she actually found out she couldn't wear those boots anymore, even though she just thought they were terrific. So she traded them in for some neon green tennis shoes, but they had platform soles. And so here's Agnes. Agnes wants to do her exercises, but that takes a little time. So Agnes tries to do them all at one time. She's on the exercise ball and she's, got every piece of equipment, but of course that isn't a good idea. But Agnes often doesn't pay much attention to a good idea. She just does it. But here's Agnes taking a little boondoggle, and she and her friend talked and talked and talked. And of course, they missed their exit, and there was no cell coverage and no GPS. And so they just had another little adventure, an unplanned adventure. And they always called it exploring and seeing the state wherever they might have been. They just made it into an adventure. So there she is. Now, Agnes has come to the pandemic and she's meditating, but as you can see from this slide, she doesn't do a good job of the lotus position. And of course, she's going to have a lot of trouble getting up, but she is among her provisions. So she's got her chips and her books and her coffee or maybe her wine, and of course her art supplies and plenty of toilet paper. Then Agnes went to the store and she noticed that people were avoiding her because she was dropping her Kleenex all over the place. So was it the virus, or was it the flu, or was it a cold? No, it was just the allergies. And then during the pandemic, Agnes's friend needed a haircut. So a bowl and kitchen shears should do the trick. Now, Agnes's grandchildren, a couple of them were graduating from college. So Agnes has her coffee and her charged phone, and she's still in her jammies and her little slippers, and she's ready for her grandchild's 8 a.m. virtual graduation.
Looks like a lot of us.
Yeah, a new experience this year. So Agnes downloaded Zoom, but she didn't know, she hadn't met Perry, she didn't have any tutorial, and she didn't know how to make the audio. So she kept putting it up to her ear. And after the experience, her grandson said he had a great view of her ear. And Agnes likes jigsaw puzzles, books on tape, snacks, a libation or two. And here she is, she's multitasking, sitting at her desk. And Agnes thinks of all the useful things that she could be doing this pandemic time. Lots of projects, and they're all good. They were just endless, but she's binge watching the TV. Now, Agnes gets lots of information as a response to her postings. And so she gets many suggestions after a post. And so she deliberately misunderstands if she's not exactly wanting to do what they tell her. So Agnes' friends highly recommend Tai Chi. Agnes misunderstands on purpose and says she's so grateful that for that information, she's totally enjoying her chai tea. Now, Agnes knows what she knows, but currently doesn't know what that was. What that thought she will think again, and then she will know.
That's fair.
Just in case you forget something, it will come back, Agnes says. Agnes is prepared to give herself a pedicure. The foot soak went well. Now, Agnes doesn't have the flexibility she once had, but the foot soak went well. Some of you might relate to this, and some of you don't have this problem, but Agnes liked her art table for a number of reasons. And she still likes her art table for a number of reasons. And you'll notice her shoes here. Those are her favorite shoes now.
She looks comfortable.
This is one of those things that a lot of people comment on. So apparently a fair number of people can relate to this. Agnes checks for hairy legs and discovers all the whiskers are on her chin. Agnes does a quick mind. Thoughts quickly flit through, and they're quickly forgotten.
Well, Claire, that was really good. Can you give us a little bit more information about, the process that you've used to create your pieces and how you decided on the handwriting?
Well, I create them from listening to my friends. And so an idea will pop into my mind. And I just generally make a little quick sketch on a scrap piece of paper. And then once I kind of get an idea together and sort of a mild punchline, I draw it onto a piece of cardstock, and then with using a pen, an ink pen, and then I color it in with alcohol inks. And so that it's just a small sketch. And so my friends and my own experiences are my source of inspiration. And the handwriting is important because in elementary school, in my era, we would practice every single day with handwriting. And we had exercises, and they were called the Zahner-Blosser method or the Palmer method, and they were both the same. And so we did our cursive, and everyone learned to write cursive. Well, cursive is not taught in the schools these days, so Agnes considers that a code. No, younger people can't even read Agnes jokes. Even though they wouldn't get them, it's all right. They can't read it.
It's fairly true. Can you tell us a little bit about the book that you created and how we might be able to access that book?
Well, I just put all of the, I did an Agnes almost every single day during the pandemic because it was, fun. And I was learning a lot about my friends, and people were commenting on Facebook. And so soon I had an accumulation. I had quite a number of Agnes escapades. And so my daughters encouraged me to put it together, and my friends kept asking for a book. So I thought, well, okay. So one of my daughters helped me put it all together, and self-published through Lulu, Lulu.
Mhm.
So it can be purchased on that site, but it's sort of hard to find often. So it's much easier just to go to my website, paintings, PAYNTINGS.com.
Mhm.
And then there is a space up in the menu that pops up, and and it has Agnes and Her Escapades. I've also published from that book a second book called Agnes Stays Afloat During the Pandemic. And it's really mostly that one chapter in the book, which is just about the pandemic. And so that one is published in just a smaller version with a couple of new Agnes escapades or thoughts on wearing masks, basically, and social distancing and the things we're doing. So both of those books are available.
Well, that's great.
I just had a really good time with it, and I appreciate your invitation to share it. And through all of this, not having a whole lot of activity, Agnes has become a sloth.
That's cute. Well, let's see if we had any questions for you. Oh, there's some chat here. Love these slices of life. I can't stop giggling and easy to relate. So thank you, everyone. No questions, just some nice comments. And that was really just a beautiful sharing, Claire. We appreciate your wisdom and your creativity.
Well, thank you for inviting me to participate and to share the fun that I've had while we were all locked up.
Well, we're really glad you're here. And also, I just want to remind everyone as we close, feel free to provide your feedback about our meeting programs. We're always interested to know what you're thinking. And also if you have any ideas for improvement or any different art mediums that you think we should share. And our next meeting is January 21st with artist Dave Fadden. He's a Native American artist from the Adirondack Mountains who also owns and manages his family's Six Nations Indian Museum. Promises to be a great learning experience for all of us. And in closing, on behalf of the board, we want to wish everyone and your families a very safe and festive holiday. And we'll be back in January. But of course, you can reach out to us anytime you'd like. And we just want to thank you for your membership and your participation today.
And Carolyn, this is Casey. I'd just like to add that there are links on our website to Claire's website. So if you go to our website and look at under the programs, we have a link there in case you didn't write it down while she was talking.
Okay, thank you, Casey. That's great.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, well, have a great one, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas. See you in the new year.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.